Hello everybody, Ben Woodruff here with another Falconry video. Today's video I'm going to be talking about socializing, specifically something I think we're doing wrong. In principle, I'm a principle-based kind of person. To me, it's more important thinking about the principles that govern our training. You can train a bird and you can have somebody tell you, if you do this, this, and this, you're going to get this. That's not always the case. I want to know what is the principle behind this, this, and this that make it work. Because if you understand the principle, it's easier to fine-tune and change and adjust your training to get some really positive results. I'm a huge advocate of socializing any animal. Any animal you're training for any reason. The human-animal interaction is a somewhat foreign dynamic, and I think it's crucial to understand how the animal's mind works and how it functions in the wild, and try to have an empathetic approach to it as how it's experiencing you, your world, your interactions, and to socialize and acclimate that animal so they have a very positive experience and it's good for them. There's, of course, a lot of ways to do that. But I want to tell you where this is coming from and kind of a new approach of what we need to kind of look at that we're leaving out of the equation. I'm an advocate of keeping birds inside when you can, but especially little birds, microbirds, a kestrel, a merlin, a sharp-shinned hawk, something like that, a little screech owl. One of the biggest reasons, of course, is just weight management. If you have hot and cold temperatures that might fluctuate more than you think, that can throw off your weight management. If you have a consistent temperature, it's a lot easier. Now, the bigger the bird, the easier it is for them to maintain their own temperature despite fluctuations in outside temperatures. So that is, of course, that's just a given. It's not practical to keep a lot of birds inside. What are you going to do? Have a golden eagle sitting in your front room? But if you can have a bird inside, it's easier to socialize. We understand that. But you don't have to. There's all kinds of ways. The more time you spend using your bird in activities that aren't falconry, meaning like, hey, you're sitting there watching TV, or you're just sitting there, maybe you have it sitting in the kitchen while you're eating a sandwich. I'm just saying, like, or, you know, socialize your bird. Go on a hike. Bring your bird with you. And it doesn't just have to be when you're hunting your bird. Spend time with your bird that's social. And they will be better off for it. That's a given. I've preached that before. So I look really tired, and I apologize. I just got back from camping, and it was on this camping trip that I want to talk about that brought up this thought. We took a couple of red tails down, went on a camping trip, tried to chase some ground squirrels, let them fly. You know, we're just about to put these birds up for the molt. Had a great old time. But one of these red tails is a first-year bird. And the other one is a 12-year-old bird that's seasoned, knows what it's doing, it's very experienced, it's used to being handled and trained and everything. But the adult red tail that I brought along is a bird that I keep outside. So I go outside, pick up the bird, go weigh the bird, fly the bird, come back home, put the bird outside. It's trained, knows what it's doing. The other one, my apprentice Corey has, and that bird pretty much lives inside. It has sort of its own bedroom, but all the time it's just social. If they're watching TV, if they're eating, if they're doing anything, they have a dog that is just super loyal to this bird and just used to all the commotion of being around all the time, like at home, around people, almost 24/7. And the difference, let me tell you how this came up. Of course, that's going to be a more social bird, but it was interesting because while we were camping, we had our tent set up, we had these two birds out, they're perched. We're there by the camp, you know, and it starts to get towards sunset, and they're feeling a little exposed because they're like, oh no, it's night. We're by these giant big red rock cliffs. And so they're feeling a little exposed. You know, you could have a raptor dive down on you. A bigger raptor could attack them. So, you know, we were there. They were safe. But we moved them both to where they were close to some big tall willow bushes, so they kind of had a wall. So they weren't feeling, you know, on all sides like something could dive on them. That was good until we got to sunset. Sunset, they started, of course, they're thinking owls. They're like, oh, I need to feel secure. So we both went to try holding them. I tried holding mine, and she was still jumpy and really scared. So I put her away, put her in the vehicle, let her calm down and go to bed in the dark. The immature first-year red tail, the passage red tail, just was like, okay, just jumpy. As soon as Corey picked him up, the bird was just fine. I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm being held now. This is still at night. So this is, you know, star-filled sky, sitting by a fire, which isn't normal. This bird is not used to being around a fire. It's not used to being in a camping setting. It's never been to Red Rock country before. And once on the fist, at night, she calmed down. She put up a fist, 1 foot, and was just like, oh, which is a very non-defensive stance. To just be like, oh, I can just put all my weight on 1 foot and relax. The bird felt able to be totally relaxed, totally calm, totally vulnerable, and let its guard down in these, broad-reaching, potentially dangerous circumstances at night, and was just fine. And the only difference between these two birds is their daily maintenance. And it got me thinking, there's something we never, ever think about, and I haven't before now, is the perspective of the bird in regards to their housing. I said, well, I got a red tail, and I brought a red tail. Corey said, I've got a red tail, he brought a red tail. But is that what the birds think towards us? So think about it. If I'm in my house, and my hawk is outside in a mew, it has no clue where I am. I totally disappeared from its life. And it may be used to the cycle of I'm going to come outside, I'm going to pick you up, bring you in, weigh you, fly you, whatever. But that's me appearing from nowhere, like some spirit from the sky. Oh, hello, I have come, we are going hunting. They don't know where I am. They don't know I'm in the house. They don't know if I'm dead. They have no clue where I am. I know where they are, because I'm like, oh, I'm doing falconry. They have no clue. And so how their reality is shaped, what the definition of normal is radically different for these two hawks. They're both the same species. They've both been trained with basically the same training techniques. But the difference is that passage redtail is almost constantly in the presence of humans, where the other one has, the humans disappear for the bulk of the time, and then the human reappears and goes flying and then disappears. Now, let me tell you why that is different. Animals are highly capable of having symbiotic relationships with species other than their own in the wild. They'll take advantages of all kinds of dumb little things. Two really quick examples. I remember at a historic recreation farm here in Utah, I watched the chickens were going around and, they're scratching up the dirt, scratching up the leaves, looking for bugs and stuff to eat. Magpies, anytime they'd see them do this, would go along and they'd watch, and they'd just be a bunch of magpies behind, because sometimes they would flip up a bug or a worm or a grub and miss it, and magpies would grab it. They just understood that. Here's another example. Hawks, especially Swainson's hawks, will watch, and if a farmer's farm equipment is plowing up a field, that is upturning the burrows of rodents that are otherwise hard to hunt. They will see that, and they will, farm equipment, quick, go over there. And you'll have flocks of hundreds, flocks. Now, I don't think that's a proper term with a hawk, but flocks of Swainson's hawks following on the ground looking for, there's another one. So they realize there's a pattern. Anytime that human with that farm equipment comes, a food opportunity presents itself. And there's elaborate ones, such as coyotes and badgers will hunt together. Now, they don't live together. They don't do it all the time, but they will seek each other out and be like, hey, come on. And like, all right. One will do the digging and one will do the catching, and it's like 50-50. Sometimes they'll flush over on the badger and the badger gets it. Sometimes they flush out hiding from the coyote and the coyote gets them. But they don't live together. It's an opportunity that comes in random cycles or regular cycles. So the mind of a bird, predatory bird, can understand those kind of things. My hawk understands that this Ben appears from nowhere every day, picks me up, weighs me, feeds me, if it's flying season, flies me, hunts me, whatever. The bird knows that, but then doesn't know where I am the rest of the time. And that is a radically different, normal, baseline setting for the mind of a predator versus the hawk that is like, I'm with people all the time. Now, a lot of us can't keep a bird with you all the time or have it in an indoor social situation for a number of reasons. I understand that. That's not the point. This is not Ben Woodruff saying, you need to keep your bird inside. That's not what I'm saying. If you can, great. My point is just, we need to remember that if your bird doesn't see you all the time, that you are not the definition of normal. Your appearance and disappearance is what is normal. You are not as much of a safety factor. You are not as much of an us as you are if they see you all the time. I like thinking outside of the box and trying to understand how these birds are perceiving. And again, other than that type of social thing, there is no difference between the training of these two hawks that are the same species. We've used the same hunting techniques. We live in the same state. everything's the same. But yet our birds are having mentally, psychologically, a different experience from each other. So be thinking of that when you come up with your plans on how you want to socialize your bird, on how you want to acclimate them, help them feel safe around. You can train a bird and not have them be really socialized. You can have a very wild bird, and again, some falconers prefer it. Some birds prefer a bird with a bit of fear and a bit of a wild edge that's kind of like, I half trust you, I don't. If that works for you, that is great, because it definitely can work. I like my bird to feel rock solid safe with me. I want him to be aggressive and dangerous towards the quarry, and as gentle as a newborn puppy with me and the people around me, and for them to feel safe with me. So I just wanted to give this as an example, even though I am an advocate of birds being kept inside when possible. That's not the point of this video. The point of the video is to think from the bird's perspective. What role are you in their life? Are you a fleeting opportunity to get some free food in their mind that seemingly happens every day? Or are you the baseline of normal, of like, we're a we, we're an us, an odd one that doesn't happen in the natural world, where a hawk and a human work together? It's not happened in the natural world. But is it? I mean, we're part of the natural world. The human-made world is the part of the natural world. So a coyote and a badger hunting together seems unlikely, yet they do it. We are a product of the natural world. We're biological. So are the birds. This is the type of hunting that we do today still from ancient times, and so I think it's kind of a neat way to look at it. Anyways, again, sorry I'm a little bit exhausted from this trip, and I just had this thought watching this and just wanted to share it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it gets you thinking. And if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. Let me know comments down below of other videos you would like to see. And as always, happy hawking.